Guys, I'm going to go over how to read a pay stub and a lot of the definitions you need to understand when it comes to a pay stub and what's on your pay stubs now as teenagers, but then also as your pay and things get a little bit more difficult as you get older. So we're going to go through these definitions first, and then at the end of this worksheet that I posted on Google Classroom, you'll find two pay stubs. So there's a pay stub A, pay stub B, and then you'll be able to fill in these the boxes here on finding the information on those two pay stubs. Okay. So before we do that, though, let's look at the terms themselves. So a couple terms that we need to understand: gross pay versus net pay. So gross pay, just going down the list here, gross pay is how much you make before taxes and withholdings. So I'm going to say and use the word withholdings a lot as I go through this, because you have taxes withheld, because eventually you're going to get some of that back in the tax return. There's also other withholdings you're going to have taken out of your paycheck, whether it's things like Social Security, your retirements, and pensions, and all kinds of things. So we'll eventually get there, but gross pay, that's the definition. Gross pay is how much you make before taxes and other withholdings from your pay. Okay, so let's just say your salary is $60,000 a year. That's your gross pay. Your pay period for 2 weeks is $1,500. That's how much you made before any taxes. And then net pay is what you net. So think of net as like like a fisherman's net. Right? It's what you catch. All right. So your net pay is what you have to spend at the end of the day, after taxes, after withholdings. All right. So look at your net pay as how much you have in your pockets to spend. Okay. Next term, deductions. Deductions is things that are going to be deducted from your pay. All right, whether it's your withholding taxes, deductions could be your retirement plan, your pension, it could be insurance, all right, union dues. We'll see all that stuff on one of the pay stub examples at the bottom. All right, so deductions are just things that you're keeping out of your pay from week to week. So that'd be, from your gross pay, you're subtracting all your taxes and deductions, and then that's how you figure out what you got left, which is your net pay. Okay. Federal withholding tax, that's just simply how much money is being withheld by the federal government in taxes. So when you look at your pay stub, you'll see federal income tax withheld. And then obviously state withholding tax is how much is being withheld from your pay by the state government, so state of Illinois. Okay, so when you file your tax returns, which some of you guys already probably did or have done, federal withholding and state withholding is where you'll get some of that money back. Okay. FICA, so one of the things you want to, some of you guys, when you look at your pay stubs, you're going to see things like Social Security and Medicare separate, or you may see FICA, or you might see Social Security and FICA. So it kind of depends on the pay stub, but if you look at the pay stub, you're going to see for sure all those things, or individually see those things on your pay stub. So FICA ultimately represents your Social Security and your Medicare. All right, so Medicare is money being withheld from your pay that's being put away, so you'll have medical insurance when you retire. And then Social Security is money being put away out of every check, so you have a retirement plan when you retire. Okay, so one of the things I always like to point out, though, like Social Security, and this isn't just students, adults as well, always think of Social Security as money that they're going to be able to survive on when they get older. And I'm not trying to get in the politics of whether it'll be there or not be there when we get older and retire, but Social Security was never designed to live some lavish lifestyle on. All right, when Social Security was designed after the Great Depression and World War II, Social Security was designed to cover basic needs, your food, your clothing, all right, and some money towards shelter, and that's about it. All right, think of our lifestyles today with all the, technology we have access to, all the things we want to stream, our cell phones, nice cars. All right, so we want to live these nice lifestyles. Social Security is not designed to do that. So if you want to continue a lifestyle like that in retirement, you have to, like that next point there, next term, their retirement plan, have a separate retirement plan that you're putting money into out of every paycheck. Okay. Social Security it's not what it's designed to do. It's just to cover some basic needs. And that should be it. Okay, if you want those nicer things in life and retirement, you got to make sure you're saving money throughout your entire career for those things. Okay, and then Medicare, same thing. It's just having health insurance out of that FICA. Your Medicare is going to be money that's put aside for you for when you retire. You have access to health care through the federal government. Okay. The next term then, obviously, retirement plan, which I already hit. You want to have separate money being put away for retirement. Some companies that you get jobs with will offer that. Some places of work won't, so you'll have to kind of figure that out on your own. So that's something that as you become an adult and you have those that extra money come in, you got to kind of be mindful of that and figure out the best route and what's the best option for you and your family. All right, medical is going to be your health insurance. Okay, again, same thing. Some places of work will offer you health insurance. Some will pay the full amount of your health insurance. Some will split the cost of health insurance with you. So that's just going to be depending on where you work someday and what your options are. All right, but ultimately medical or health insurance, I might say, Blue Cross Blue Shield on your pay stub if that's what your health insurance is. That's going to be money deducted from your gross pay, all right, to be put aside for you for your health insurance. Okay, as you're working, not for retirement. That's your health insurance now. Okay, Medicare is health insurance later. And then the year-to-date term, or YTD as it will oftentimes be put on your pay stub, is going to be the column that's going to show how much you've made and how much you've paid in all these different separate deductions, whether it's taxes, health insurance, retirement, pensions. It's going to be the column that's going to say, okay, from January 1st to the date of that check, that is your year-to-date column. So you can kind of see a tally of how much you've made and how much you've paid in these different things from January 1st to the day of that check. Okay. All right, so I have a question here, just to kind of sum this up a little bit. It says, if there is a change, an increase or a decrease in the income tax rate, so a change in how much the government's going to expect you to pay in taxes. So either they're increasing how much we pay in taxes or decreasing what you pay in taxes. Question is, what will change, your gross or your net income? Okay, I'll give you a second to think about that and come up with an answer before I explain it. All right, so your gross income is how much you made before taxes. Your net income is what you're netting, how much you're making after your taxes and deductions. All right, so if there is an increase or a decrease in income tax rate, the thing that will change is your net income. All right, if you make 60 grand a year, you make 60 grand a year. The income tax rate is going to determine how much of that 60 grand you have left. So that's why your net income is what would change when there's changes in the income tax rate. Okay. All right, so that's some of the main terms we need to know when it comes to pay stubs and taxes and things that go with pay stubs. So what you guys can do then is go ahead and look at this worksheet that follows. You can go ahead and fill in the blanks, and if you have any questions on it, feel free to contact me or submit it on Google Classroom. We got pay stub A and pay stub B, okay? And what you need to do is look for these answers. So find the gross pay, the net pay, the federal income tax. Some of it you might have to do a little math to figure out. Some of it will be clearly there. All right, but the thing I want to point out first, and which is actually going to help you answer the last question, which I'll go over with you now, is what is the difference between the wages and the two pay stubs? All right, so if you look at pay stub B, it's showing you hourly, how many hours you're working and what your pay rate is. All right, and then some overtime. Pay stub A is just saying a faculty pay, so there's nothing to do with how many hours you're working or an hourly rate. All right, so pay stub A is going to be looking at being paid in a salary style of pay, or pay stub B is being paid in an hourly style of pay. Okay, so I use these two examples. These are, this is an old pay stub of mine from when I worked landscaping. I think my first or second year teaching. During the summers, I still worked some side jobs to make a little extra money. And then pay stub A is an example of one of my paychecks here from Joliet Township High School. So you can kind of see the difference between what you guys probably get now. Pay stub B would be more like a high school type job where you're working hourly pay, where pay stub A is going to be more of a career, all right, where you may be on a salary or a larger sum of money with a lot more deductions. Okay, you can see in pay stub B, there's a lot fewer deductions over here. Your basic deductions that you have probably in your pay, and then up here you see this is more of a career style deductions where you see a pension, you see health insurance, which is PPO family, and then some other things. Okay, so when you go through this table here, some of them won't be on the pay stub, so just go ahead and put $0 because they're some of those won't exist on pay stub A or pay stub B. So you just gotta kind of search for them and see what you find. Okay, so that is what I need you to do when you're complete with it. you have any questions, let me know.